Welcome back to Wake Up America. According to a state police spokesperson, authorities are making progress in the investigation into the killings of 4 University of Idaho students found dead nearly 10 days ago. Officials are scheduled to hold a news conference a little bit later today to provide the media with an update on their investigation.
For more on this, let's bring in former FBI agent and Navy SEAL Jonathan Gilliam. Jonathan, before we get to Idaho, I want to talk about what just happened last night in Virginia. Up to 7 people are dead in Chesapeake, Virginia, after a gunman allegedly believed to be a store manager opened fire in a break room. Police say the suspect is dead. We just had that news conference from them. Jonathan, this is the second mass shooting this week. We keep seeing more and more of these. What's going on here?
I'm not sure, but I'd be interested to know if the shooting that happened in Colorado, we still don't know exactly what happened there, but that could potentially be workplace violence as well. And of course, as always, the Biden administration is jumping straight to just crucifying the guns, the legally owned guns. And in Colorado, for instance, we know that individual should never have had guns after basically being a felon, but the charges were dropped. So I think what we're looking at here with this individual, I can almost guarantee you that when they look into the background of the shooter at Walmart, it's going to be exactly like it was with the shooter in Colorado, as it always is. These people have screamed, "Look at me, I'm dangerous," and law enforcement and the community at large ignores those warning signs.
Yeah. We are keeping a close eye on that case as it develops as well, Jonathan. Let's go to Idaho now. We're about 10 days removed from this quadruple murder. I'm wondering what is standing out to you as this investigation continues. Officials are going to give us an update a little bit later today. I'm wondering what you make of the timing. Here we are, Thanksgiving. Most of the students at the University of Idaho have gone home for the holiday. Washington State University, right up the road, it's about 10 minutes away. They've gone home for Thanksgiving. Is that a good thing for investigators? Because you can't rule out the possibility that this was a student who might no longer be in Moscow, Idaho.
Right. I think the things that are, well, first of all, how do they figure out who was in and around that area if they're a student? Most likely they have a cell phone. I'm positive, because the FBI is involved now, that they're pulling cell tower records and they're looking at those things, and they're looking at all these ways that they can track who was in and around that area. I mean, I hate to use this as an example, but January 6th, the perfect example how the federal government can pull cell tower records and find out who is where in a certain area at a certain time. I think the thing that stands out here for me, though, that keeps jumping out at me is the fact that this scene that occurred happened immediately after the house shut down. This is a party house. It's a house where there's a lot of people that come and go. They have codes to the doors to get in and out. But it wasn't until that house shut down for the evening that those attacks occurred. And when they did occur, they were so violent and so bloody. It's hard to imagine that somebody could leave that scene without a trace of evidence outside the house, which we have not heard about.
Right.
So, because you have to understand, when there is that much blood, and they keep talking about how much blood there is there, if there's that much blood, it's almost impossible not to have that on you and track that out. So I keep questioning, are they vetting these people properly that were in the house or who had access to the house? Because they keep saying these people are cleared, but somebody knew when that house shut down. So it was either an outsider who was watching it for whatever reason, or it's somebody that's in the house that knows and has access to it.
Right, because you mentioned that you need a key code to get in. Let's talk about the blood, though, Jonathan. So Idaho police say it's going to be a challenge to go through all this blood evidence to find DNA. I know experts have said in this type of stabbing that the suspect may have cut themselves. Talk to us more about the challenges that they're facing and when could they find DNA?
Well, it's good because there's so much blood and also because this home is a transient location where it's kind of a party home. So there's going to be DNA everywhere from all kinds of different people inside that house. So collecting the DNA and then finding out who was in and around that house is that's a painstaking circumstance to deal with.
Yeah.
I think though, when we look at the way this these murders were carried out, it was obviously to me a young person, somebody who there's no way that a person that could have the adrenaline and the effort to stab and kill 4 people. One person's difficult, but 4 people and one of them fought back. There's no way that that individual has not shown signs before that day. So there's somebody in that community that has probably seen odd behavior, and that is something that's going to help out tremendously.
That's a good point. And this knife, this Rambo-style knife, is a very unique knife to use. That's the knife that they think was used. So many questions.
It's a huge knife. It's a very big knife, and I do question if the way that they may have found out. I used a K-bar in the SEAL teams. We've all used these knives. The tips always break off when you hit something hard, and there's a possibility that's the way they discovered that knife.
Okay. Hopefully we learn more today, Jonathan. Have a great Thanksgiving. We'll pick this up again soon. Thank you.
You all too. Thank you.
No crooked establishment.
None of that twisting the truth.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax.
Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think.
They let
me decide.
Newsmax.
real news
For real people.